In Lebanon, hundreds of thousands in the streets. The final straw, a 20-cent tax on the otherwise free messaging service WhatsApp. In Baghdad, dissatisfaction after 2 wars. Neither left democratic economic values in place, culminating in a violent response from the government. More than 200 dead. In Chile, a 4% rise in subway fares was enough to bring 1 million people to the streets. Stores and subway stations torched, the government forced to declare a state of emergency. And in Ecuador, the end of fuel subsidies brought out the masses. The government unable to control the spread, protests coordinated through social media.
Around the world, these movements are growing, and they have certain things in common. The first is these are grassroots movements, movements without leaderships. The other thing is it's the haves versus the have-nots, and the have-nots are taking to the streets in huge numbers, demanding economic reforms from governmental systems that seem braced against change.
All are united against corruption and demand equal access to the economy, and each has its own momentum and spirit.
Why are you out here?
I'm out here because this is my country, and this is where I want to continue to hopefully establish my family here. I'm really connected to my culture and to my heritage, and I find Lebanon to be such a beautiful country, so diverse.
Talk to me about that corruption. What does this economic corruption mean for Lebanon?
This economic corruption means around really high percentages of unemployment, above 30% of unemployment. Me, as a current university student, I'm planning on traveling because I can't find a job here. And the ones who are getting hired are getting paid very minimal wage, while the cost of living is rising exponentially, and there's also fear of inflation that the value of the lira is going to drop. And now the news stories are coming out about how specific politicians have been hiding money in other countries and have been hiding US dollars in other countries, and this is affecting the poor people more than me.
Why are you here?
I'm here to change the situation in Lebanon, the corruption of the government, for a better future for us and for our children and for parents and for every Lebanese that lives in Lebanon and outside Lebanon.
I'm not 20 years old yet. I'm only 18 years old, and I'm still already scared about my future in this country because I want to build here, I want to live here. I was born and raised here, and this is where I belong. If I'm going to university and there's no future for me to grow up in, then what am I doing it for?
In Lebanon, a movement for now seemingly supported by the army, bordering at times on a massive street party. In Iraq, artist Ahmed Shawki paying homage to the Joker, a film centered around unjust distribution of wealth, leading many to dub this the Joker Uprising. The movements have grabbed the attention of the 2 Democratic candidates for president most able to find common messages in their own campaigns. Senators Warren and Sanders, each throwing their support behind those in the streets of Lebanon, Warren flagging corruption both in the U.S. and abroad, Sanders calling for a, quote, global movement of and for working people.
I would love for everyone in the U.S. to really see how peaceful this movement is. We have little kids here, we have people with their families, we have all types of religions. No one cares anymore where they come, what taiha they come from, meaning what village they come from, where their family was in the past. They care about right now. They all have the same goals. They want to eat, they want education, they want to live freely. There's nothing that's going to divide them anymore. They want to be united as one national identity.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.